In 1901, when the Federation of Australia occurred, there was a debate about which city would be the new capital. The two cities, Sydney and Melbourne, both had good reasons as to why they should be the capital. Melbourne claimed that as the most populous city, it should be the capital, whereas Sydney claimed that as the oldest city, it should be the capital. The debate carried on for 4 years before it was decided that a new city would be built. Section 125 of the Constitution says that the seat of the government of the Commonwealth shall be within territory which shall have been granted to or acquired by the Commonwealth, and shall be in the state of New South Wales, and be distant not less than 100 miles from Sydney. After 8 years of searching for such a place, and considering sites such as Wagga Wagga and Yass, Canberra was chosen, a small property on the banks of the Molongo River. A competition was sent out around the world to design a city in May 1911. The site, though, was very hard to enter, so entrants were sent details of the topography and layout of the land. 137 entries were received. In 1913, a winner was chosen, Walter Burley Griffin, an architect from America, and his idea was the idea of a garden city. His idea had a few guidelines, which were that 1. Parliament House would be built on a place called Camp Hill. 2. That there would be wide avenues, each named after a state capital, radiating outwards from Camp Hill. 3. That there would be a large lake in Canberra. 4. That one part of the city would be the government precinct, and the other areas would be for residence and for commercial use. And lastly, that the hills, mountains and shores of the lake would be left untouched and kept green. Walter was invited to Australia during 1913 to supervise the building of the city, and was appointed Federal Capital Director of Design and Construction. The planning commenced later that year, but was slowed due to the First World War. In 1920, Griffin's contract ended and his plans were complete. Griffin was frustrated during the years of the First World War due to increased delays in shipment of materials, and because of the various efforts of the other government agencies to change his ideas. The government of the day decided to set a date for the completion of Canberra. As a result of this, building of the temporary Parliament House increased at an incredible pace, and Canberra was completed in 6 years. Parliament was then moved to Canberra from Melbourne in May 1927. Since 1901, Parliament had always met in Melbourne. The priority of the 1920s was to move the Parliament to Canberra. The plan was to use a temporary Parliament House for 50 years. It ended up being used for 66 years though, until the present Parliament House opened in 1988. In May of the 1927, the temporary Parliament House was opened.